Alright, so we just got the official trailer for Snow White, the live-action remake from Disney, and yeah, let's react to this trailer together. If you like these kind of videos, make sure to like and subscribe for more, but let's get into this trailer reaction. Here we go.
This was my father's kingdom, a place of fairness, but the queen changed everything.
Gal Gadot, okay.
What did you say?
The people need some kindness.
You know, I really don't remember you being this opinionated. Magic mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest of them all?
Famed is thy beauty, magic.
That's a good design of the mirror. I like it.
The lovely maiden I now behold.
I look at you, and I just want to be the fairest of them all.
The queen is evil. You must flee into the woods.
That looks good.
This was a magical place.
Cute animals. She has a good costume too.
Hello? Is there anybody here?
Oh my god.
What did you think I was? Nothing. Ghost.
They look horrible.
The queen stole everything from all of us. I'm gonna need your help. It's time to restore our kingdom.
Waiting on a wish, holding out for someday, hoping somehow, someway, there comes a miracle.
Rachel Zegler has a good voice, so I mean,
The girl I met to
This is our kingdom, and now we're here to take it back.
You were saying. I'm sorry, my dear. Did I frighten you?
all right. Let's talk about that. So yeah, that was the first, well, not the first, there was a teaser a couple months ago, but that was the official trailer for the live-action Snow White adaptation. And, oh my god. That, if it means anything, the trailer was released as of when I'm recording this 2 hours ago, and it only has 77,000 views. And it's on the official Disney YouTube. That's crazy. But yeah, so that was the trailer for the live-action Snow White movie. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to this movie, so let's talk about what I think about it. All right, so starting off with some good things. CGI doesn't look that bad unless it's about the dwarves. Oh my gosh, we'll get to that stuff in a little bit, but when it comes to the good stuff, CGI, it looks decent. Rachel Zegler is a really good singer. She has a great voice, so I think the music's gonna be good. She's a pretty good actress too, so I think the acting will be okay. I'm not 100% on board with Gal Gadot as the evil queen. I think she fits the character well. Like when it comes to looks, costume's great. I don't think Gal Gadot's the greatest actress ever. I mean, maybe that's just my opinion, but I think the scenery, set design looks pretty good. But that's about it. Now, going into the bad, because there's a lot of stuff to talk about when it comes to this Snow White movie. So much controversy. So much. I mean, over the last year, there has just been so many negative things said about this movie. I haven't seen like one good thing said about or heard about this movie. I haven't heard anything that's been like praising or making people want to go see this movie. So yeah, Rachel Zegler has been the biggest issue with this movie since it was announced. I mean, I think this movie was announced like almost 3 years ago, and people weren't always on board with it from the beginning, but then the press junkets started to happen, not for this movie, but just in general for other Rachel Zegler projects, especially when she was in The Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. And a lot of those press junkets, people were asking her about, where the process, or where where the live action Snow White movie was at in the production process. And they were asking her questions about the character, and she had just nothing good to say. Rachel Zegler was always talking about, how the first Snow White movie had a really just a bad message, and they really wanted to change the story of Snow White, and she really just had so many mean things to say about it, basically saying that Snow White is a bad movie. I don't know why Disney kept going. They probably already had this movie shot, but she was just saying mean things after mean things after mean things about the original Snow White movie, the first fully animated Disney movie. And that is just bizarre that her team just let that happen. She just kept saying bad things after bad things, and that really just pulled so many people out of this movie, and kind of makes sense as to why it's taken so long for there to be a first trailer for this movie. Because I can't believe that her attitude towards this movie was so bad. And then she would also simultaneously talk about how she always wanted to play Snow White when she was a kid, and Snow White was her favorite. But then in these interviews, she just talked so bad about it, and it was just so confusing. It made no sense as to why she was talking so badly about this movie. Now, talking about the dwarves, that's another issue that this movie was having throughout its production process, because a while ago there was a leaked image that they had tall men as the dwarves in full costume, and I think they were actually going to make this movie with tall people, but instead they cast tall people and then went ahead and CG'd completely different bodies onto the characters to make them look almost identical to what they looked like in the original animated movie. And it's haunting. It is scary. That CGI is crazy to me, because what it doesn't understand is that we're not trying to mimic the original Snow White, because in Snow White, the character designs of the dwarves looked like the character designs of the other people. They just looked like short people. They didn't have, a weird look to them, and didn't look like they, were separate from everyone else. But this movie, they just look like they had the skin, like a skin texture pack, and then just spread it over the original design of the dwarves in the first Snow White movie. And it's like borderline disrespectful. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there was a lot of controversy about that. I mean, Peter Dinklage had so many things to say about how they weren't casting short people for the roles. And to be quite honest, I agree. I think that's very disrespectful. And the fact that they even double down, they casted tall people for the roles, and then they CGI'd horribly designed character designs onto the bodies. It is crazy to me. That is insane. And the fact that they looked like that and decided that that's what they're going to go for is crazy. It looks horrible. I mean, I'm going to be blunt about it. The dwarves in the live-action Snow White movie look terrible. I was at, I don't like disrespecting or, talking down on projects, because, especially Disney, because I love Disney. I mean, I love Disney, but this is just horrible. I was at D23, and they had shown the first teaser trailer that is now available online, and I remember sitting there watching this trailer, and then the dwarves pop up on screen, and I was like, what? That's what they look like? That's like nightmare fuel. I mean, it boggles my mind that that's the design that they decided to go with. Like, they could have done so much more. It would have been so much better if they just cast short people in the roles. It would have looked more natural. because this is live action. We're not, they should have been live action. It's like they're going down the Lion King route where it's a live action movie, but it's not. I mean, this one's more live action because they do have, you know, real people in the roles. But when it comes to the dwarves, it's just, I'm talking about this for a while, but it's crazy to me that that is the design that they decided to go with. This design looks so painfully bad. And really is just pulling me out of the movie. Because like I was stating before, the CGI doesn't look horrible. The CGI itself for most of the shots that were shown in this trailer don't look horrible, especially in the mine shot, in the mine scene where it's like all those like the flashy lights and the minerals are all like shining and stuff. That looked good. But then we have these dwarves that just look so horrible. Like, why would they do that? Why would they? They were sitting in the editing room and were looking at this over and over and over and over and over again, and they were like, "Yep, this is what we're gonna put on screens all around the world for kids to have nightmares." Now, the first Snow White movie, granted, is not the least scariest movie of all time. I mean, it's pretty, you know, but it's not supposed to be like. I mean, it's a pretty scary story, you know, about, you know, a young girl in the woods, you know, escaping from, you know, it's this evil queen that, you know, is jealous of her beauty. And, you know, we do come across these dwarves, and it's just really just does not make sense. It does not make sense that they decided to go with this design. That's the last time I'll say it, but oh my gosh, it's crazy. It's crazy. I can't believe that is what they decided to go with. But for the rest of the movie, I am personally not super excited for this. I don't think I've ever been excited for it. I think there was a point where I was like, oh, that'll be cool. I mean, Rachel Zegler, she fits the role pretty well. I mean, she, you know, like with the costume, the hair, you know, I think she fits the character well. I think Rachel Zegler in herself, in as who she is as a person, you know, before, I mean, she just seemed to be like a really sweet person. I'm sure she still is a very sweet person, but just her attitude towards this movie really, really, really pulled me out of it. And like I said, great singer. She was fantastic in the Hunger Game movie. Fantastic. She has a great voice. She has a fantastic voice. I think she's a very good singer. So I think the music will be good. I think the set design, the costume designs look great. But honestly, this looks almost like a live action adaptation of Disney's Wish that came out, I think, last year or this year or something like that. I think it was last year. That movie was not the greatest. That movie was basically just a celebration and included every single Disney movie into one, mostly Snow White as the main one. But I don't know. This just like, I'm so tired of Disney like not making original stuff anymore. We need original content. I don't want unneeded sequels. I don't want live action adaptations of movies, live action adaptations of movies that didn't even come out a decade ago. We just want original stuff because we know you're good at making good movies. We know that you're good at making magical movies, but we are just getting unneeded sequels after unneeded sequels. We're getting live action adaptations that we don't need. Just give us an original movie. Disney, I love you. I love Disney. I mean, I grew up watching all your stuff. I love Disney, and I love the magic that they portray in their movies. But we have to stop remaking stuff because that's what they think that we want. We don't want that. We don't want remakes. We don't want live action adaptations of what is known to be one of the greatest Disney movies of all time. I personally don't think Snow White's one of the greatest Disney movies of all time, but it is monumental for the time. That movie came out almost 100 years ago, and it's still better animated than a lot of animated movies that come out today. That's how monumental Snow White is. This movie does not look that good. That's just my opinion. But anyways, I digress. those are just my thoughts about the trailer for Snow White. I'm very interested as to what you think about it too. Are you excited? Are you not excited? Are you mad about this movie? What do you think about all the controversy centered around this movie? I want to know what you think, so let me know in the comments below. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe if you like these kind of videos, but that'll bring it to the end of this video. Thank you so much. I appreciate every single one of you, and remember, your movie moment is right around the corner. See you in the next video.